Okay, so welcome back to something new, actually. Um, yeah, so I'm pretty sure I said in the last video that I was going to do the Warlock gameplay on Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, along with showing off New Game Plus. Uh, and if anyone has watched multiple of my videos, you'll have heard that I was planning to upload at least like one video a week. Definitely not keeping that up this time around. Um, yeah, to shorten things, basically, I did record the Warlock gameplay as I intended, or well, I tried to at least, and I've run into several technical difficulties that mean either I need to re-record it, showing off something new, or just rework what it is that I recorded and can't be salvaged. Um, so yeah, I'm still figuring that out. And then this past weekend, from when I'm recording this, was Mother's Day, so I've been busy with real life stuff and just was celebrating that. Now, this game is called Pokemon Gym Manager. It's a fan-made game, and the basic idea is that it's kind of a management slash simulator type of game, where you're not even the actual gym leader. Instead, you are the gym manager. So you're the person who hires the gym leader, the gym trainers. That's the basic premise. It's kind of one of those things where it's better to show instead of trying to put it into words. Anyway, I've been having a good amount of fun with it. You'll see I already have a save file here. So I have two save files. The first one was genuinely just to test out the game, make sure there weren't any blatant bugs to start off with, and it could save fine. Everything worked well enough. Second one, I intended to be the actual recording for this. When I tried to record it, um, let's just say I didn't set up the layout for the recording properly. So yeah, I ended up with kind of all the gameplay was just it would have shown up as a very small square on one of the corners of your screen, and the audio got pretty messed up. Um, Basically, I decided it's better just to try recording again. Just start a completely new save file and give it another shot instead of trying to salvage this. So yeah, I'll talk a bit more after starting the game. So you can see here, it has the pretty classic Pokemon look. And yeah, so we're the manager. Right there at the top is our house. And I mean, it's pretty straightforward from that. It moves like a pretty classic Pokemon game. So these two, again, TM and item shop. Since I've already seen all of this, I'll kind of try to breeze through it just for this first episode. I mean, you guys will get a chance to see like more of those two shops in general. And then this is our house. So yeah, you start off with a blank gym. We're in Pebble Town, I think it was. Yeah, Pebble Town. So we have no reputation. Just remember there's one guy down here. Yeah, the Wacky Wizard and the Stump Key. I still haven't found out how to get the Stump Key. But yeah, the most I played of this game is just one full week, so 7 days. So I'm still not. I still haven't seen that much. The only thing I can say is on the end of each week, so on the 7th day, you get a special challenger who is an actual gym leader, as far as I'm aware. They're at least an actual notable Pokemon trainer. Um, and from what I saw on the updates, this game hasn't actually been updated in quite a while, hence why I tried to test it the first time around. Yeah, so the adoption center, I'll go into that on the second day. Yeah, it hasn't been updated in a while. It's essentially completed, as far as I'm aware. I don't know. It was I think it was marked as like beta 4, but there's enough content, as far as I'm aware, that it should be like a full playthrough, or at least I'm going to try to do one. I'm planning to do it so that every episode will be what do you call it? Every episode will be about 30 minutes, and I will go through 7 days because, or well, a week each time. So it should be like an 8 or 9 episode playthrough, I think, unless I decide to like cram so the types you can choose change each time from what I've seen. I'll go water just because that gives us the most versatility, I feel like. Uh, there are a lot of good water types, and there are a lot of really bad water types too. So Brandon's our gym leader. I'll say yes just for you guys. So basic idea is each day you'll have a certain set of challengers. You can check who the challengers will be. A lot of them will have like trainer type titles, which will give you a basic idea of what to expect. So yeah, in this case, you know, Bug Catcher Matthew, Ace Trainer Eric, and Biker James. So if you play through the mainline Pokemon games, you can have some idea of what Pokemon those trainers might have. The Bug Catcher is the most obvious one. And then you can see we also get bonuses for the type that we chose at the start there. So we have Brandon. Okay, interesting. He actually has a full water type team. Yeah, so the other two playthroughs I did, the other two times I tried it out, the gym leader I got didn't actually, what do you call it, they didn't actually have the right typing, or they had like one Pokemon of the type that it said. So I only have one trainer, who's the gym leader, so there's no reason to go to the stores. I could afford a TM, but it's just not really worth it at this level. Okay, I'm gonna have to check the options again because it did this. So this, I'm pretty sure is a bug. It should hopefully be fixed by the second day. You have an option to be able to control your team, like manually control each Pokemon and each trainer, or let the CPU handle it. I think I'm gonna go with the CPU just because, you know, I'm the gym manager, not the actual gym leader, so I feel like it's more appropriate to let my employees handle it. But yeah, I'm going to need to check the settings to make sure, because part of getting this to actually display right while recording was changing some settings around in the actual game, or at least just to make it easier. But yeah, apart from the actual gym leader battles, I'm thinking I'm going to speed up the battles just because if I'm not controlling them, you know, like Pokemon battles can be enjoyable to watch, but I don't think there's any point in not speeding them up. Especially when this isn't like a traditional Pokemon game playthrough. But yeah, I think the only ones that generally I will not speed up will be the actual gym leaders that comes with Violet. Just because you know that's a unique encounter in a sense. Who do I want to gain some experience? So this team from what I'm saying, for early on, this team is pretty decent. Out of the typings that we had, I don't know, a fighting type would have probably been the best for like starting off, just because it has what, two weaknesses. A lot of fighting types are more like two-stage. It varies, but I mean, a lot of them have, a lot of like baby fighting types have some higher higher attack stats than you might expect from oh, come on. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, I think like any of the typings would have been fine. Flying was the only one I'm particularly concerned about because a lot of you know, first stage flying Pokemon are quite weak. I'm trying to think of an exception. Like the only case would be like if we got a Farfetch or something on the gym leader, because then it would have like a pretty above average, like, base 1 stats. A Tauros could be good. But from what I've seen, the levels tend to stay pretty on par, at least for the first week. So, Tauros is really strong. It would be really good for early game. No, I'll do a new gym trainer. No, Michael. Alright, so we have Brandon and Michael. And the main reason is, you know, we could get a Tauros and then Brandon would have a full team, but now because, let me go ahead and save first, actually. So yeah, we're going on File C, and hopefully everything is going well. I'm trying to record my audio at the same time as I'm playing. It's because, I don't know. Oh, I got Cue Ball Michael. Okay. Yeah, see, so we got 3 more Pokemon instead of just Tauros. And these are pretty solid. Tentacruel is actually very good. Survivor, I mean, up until like levels 20 or 30, it's not bad. And then Scrafty has plenty of uses. Moxie, okay. I would prefer Intimidate on either of these two, but it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. So if you're wondering for a sudden, like, jump in speed, I'm speaking in post-production at this point. Basically, since this is the first episode, I wasn't really sure how I was going to edit this because I didn't want to cut out too much content. You know, this one's more of a playthrough, so I want you guys to actually see this. At least for the first week, not too much happens in between the battles, and then since they're Pokemon battles, I mean, you know, I don't think people really need to see the full battles. Even sped up, they're still, you know, pretty straightforward, nothing too interesting happens. So I'm thinking Pokemon battles, apart from gym leaders, I'm going to speed up quite a lot, if not just flat out cut them out. And the sections in between, if something happens story-wise or just something different happens, like I'll obviously leave that in. But I yeah, in this case I didn't want to give you guys like another 50-minute video. I mostly want to keep these to like 30-ish minutes. But since it is the first episode, I wanted to try to keep most of the content intact. So this is kind of the middle ground answer of just speeding up, so you can still see more or less all the content that I did record. I am making several cuts, even if it doesn't really appear that way. And also I was having issues with getting the audio to actually record properly, as in getting the in-game audio and then also my voice at the same time, and getting both layers to mesh well. So the first like 10 minutes of this video, I think you'll notice I probably sound pretty different compared to well, the rest of the video. So you'll probably notice me saving a lot this game. When I was actually downloading it, there was a note from the developer saying, oh yeah, you should save daily or near daily, just in case of bugs or, you know, game crashes, anything like that. It's just a good practice, especially for a fan-made game like this. As far as I'm aware, this was made just by one person, so, you know, even with the game continually being worked on and being debugged, like, stuff happens. So that's the main reason. And yeah, I think I went over earlier that there, out of the notes that I saw on the game, there were either 100 days. I think it got changed to 63 days now. So yeah, I'm gonna do a full playthrough of however long the game lets me. So this is gonna be at least like 8 or 9 episodes, I'm pretty sure, unless I miscounted. And yeah, each episode's gonna be about a week. I'm still figuring it out, but as I'm editing this now, I think that going from episode 2 onwards, definitely expect to have more cuts, because I think speeding up the battles will work fine. I didn't run into too much stalling during this first week, but I mean, yeah, if we get into a situation where, you know, let's say a Pokemon, we end up in like a stall battle, and there is just literally nothing happening for turns and turns and turns. At that point, I think I'm going to cut out some of the battles. The only thing I'm going to guarantee that I will keep fully intact, maybe slightly sped up, but like fully intact, will be the gym leader battles. Just because, I mean, those are the gym leader ones, so, you know, they're kind of like the bosses for this game. Overall, I do really like the concept of this game, though. And I think the concept works best with me letting the CPU play it, even if it makes some very nonsensical decisions. Like, just looking at that right there, there's no real reason why Remrage should be going for Water Gun instead of Water Pulse at this point. But yeah, I mean, if anyone watching this has any issues with that and has a preference for me actually, you know, controlling all of the Pokemon, just so, well, actually, you can feel free to leave a comment, and I'll kind of keep it in mind for future playthroughs. For this one, I think it just works much better to let the CPU handle it, because, again, I'm not supposed to be the gym leader. I'm supposed to be the gym manager, so, you know, I mean, in real life, I do have some management experience, and generally speaking, sometimes you have to micromanage, but it's generally not that helpful to be all up in someone else's work unless they're making a clear mistake. In this case, I'm pretty sure there is a function to fire gym trainers or even the gym leader. So that could be something I could look into instead of trying to correct the mistakes. In this case, given the nature of the work, quote-unquote, I think it's better that the people we hire or end up with, you know, I might set who their starting Pokemon is, but I'll let them battle on their own, and then if we lose, we lose. It is what it is. Because just think about, like, the regular Pokemon games. How often are you actually losing to the gym leaders? Like, when you're the protagonist, you are beating them 9 times out of 10. Maybe in your first, the very first time you played Pokemon or something, you really struggled, or you like my very first Pokemon game was actually Pokemon Crystal, but I remember playing Pokemon Blue very early on too, and I remember back then I really liked to catch like all of the Pokemon on the early routes, which aren't necessarily the best. There's usually at least one that's pretty solid until, you get to like levels 20 and 30. But I remember I had like mostly bug types, and I went to fight Brock and in Pokemon Blue. And I remember that being quite troublesome. But then, once you played your first Pokemon games, once you actually have some idea about typings, and you know that, like, unless you want to complete the Pokemon Dex, you really don't need to catch all of these weaker bugs and early birds and all of that. How often are you actually struggling? So yes, I want us to be a tough gym to beat, but, if we lose, we lose. It's just the normal aspect of the Pokemon world. I do wish there was like some sort of like management style, like just offshoot from actual Pokemon, not necessarily made by Game Freak, but like, kind of like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Coliseum, those kinds of games where there are still the core mechanics of like battling, but it's like a different aspect of the actual Pokemon world. Because for the most part, the mainline games, even though they've slightly deviated at times, they maintain the same formula. There's a base story where the basic premise is just there's an evil team or something's going wrong with the cover legendary, and you as the 10-year-old have to go fix it. And I don't mind that, but a lot of what makes people love Pokemon is the actual Pokemon themselves. So being able to get to see them in a different light is definitely something that's usually pretty enjoyable. And I ended up with a Chimchar here. So I mean, the teams are coming together with my two trainers here. Like I'm actually pretty pleased with the two teams I have right now. I think they have good variety, at least with Cue Ball here. We have good enough variety that shouldn't be losing to too much, apart from like if we have to face 5 trainers in a row or something like that. Then our gym leader, Brandon, since I chose water as the theme, I don't mind him being like a full water type trainer. Although I do wish they were different water types. Because we have what? 2 Remoraid's and I think 2 Buizels? And I mean, yeah, it's not the best. None of them are like the worst. They all have good enough potential, but more type variety is definitely good. But yeah, definitely going back to what I was saying about the CPU earlier. Like at this point, Chimchar's level 7 now, so it should have Ember. I don't know why. Oh, okay, it was Zora. Damn, the Zora got me. The Zora got me. Poison Tail. Okay, so yeah, so Viper is gonna be our main carry probably for the first week or two. So if it isn't fully apparent, as far as I've been able to figure out, the item shop, the actual items there change daily, technically. Or at least one of the items changes daily. So it's... all of the Pokemon we have right now, I am fairly certain are just level up evolutions. Like they don't need stones or you know, trading or anything like that. But there are plenty of Pokemon that are stone evolutions, so I kind of want to, you know, just keep track of what our options are since they do change daily. And then the daycare, I mean, or the adoption center, you guys already saw I already used that once, but so far there hasn't been anything I'm like, oh, that would be really sick. I should definitely get that. Like even the Chimchar is just because, hey, you know what? That's a pretty solid fire type. Well, I also do like Infernape. If you watch my my Pokemon Pocket video, you'll probably have gotten that much already. But yeah, I mean it's pretty fast. Has solid attacks. Isn't crazy frail, but you know it can usually eat at least one hit and hit hard enough. And then also, yeah, that gives us a fire type. And then, you know, Beldum, that's too much potential to not take that. Steel Psychic, good typing. Very good stats, obviously. So today is the day. You guys are, again, I think I've obviously sped this up, but damn, we don't have enough money for the Gibble. That also would have been really good. Yeah, I've sped this up to the point where I think you guys will still be able to read everything on the screen just fine. If you can't, feel free to pause it, and again, if you prefer me not to use any speed ups, feel free to leave a comment and I'll take it into consideration. But if I don't use speed ups for at least the battles, I'm definitely going to be cutting a lot of stuff. And I believe I already went through it, really, but I'm episode 2 onward will look pretty different from this because I'll be a lot more willing to just cut out, like, you know, the stuff in between battles if there isn't anything new that happens. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I really am aiming for, you know, 20 to 30 minute videos for each episode. Maybe whichever episode ends up as the finale will be longer. This one's also going to be slightly long, just because I'm still in the process of figuring out what to leave in and exactly how much to speed up. And then I explained it in the beginning, but basically I was just too... Okay, in retrospect, I do wish I would have kept Venoshock. I checked it out afterwards, and Seviper is technically a mixed attacker, so... Yeah, I could have sworn it was, like, purely physical. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. We're facing off Brock. He's an actual gym leader, so... Now... I'm not going to speed up this battle. And for gym leaders in general, you know, so the boss battles, I'm not going to speed them up unless, you know, we run into a situation where they are trying to stall me out, or it's like, you know, it ends up a point where, like, I have to wait until my Pokemon can just use Struggle, or their Pokemon can just use Struggle, or something like that. Yeah, so it'll be like the boss battles with Heroes of Hammerwatch too. And speaking of which, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with that. My idea was, instead of bringing more like full gameplay type videos, I might just make some shorts showing off the rest of the classes. So yeah, I'm not gonna say no more Heroes of Hammerwatch videos. I'm going to say more just there might not be any more in the near future. Like the next few videos should all just be this game, I think. I might start recording a different game at the same time and bring some of that too. But it'll mostly be this game. And as I said, they'll be more like 20 to 30 minute videos. And wow, he actually got all 5. That is unfortunate. But yeah, and then also, I don't know. I want to maintain some consistency, so I'm still aiming for the once a week. This video should go up, I think, either on the 17th or the 18th of May. I will probably have a chance to record some more that same weekend, so you might get episode 2 very, like within a couple of days of this video going up. But at the latest, it'll be like the following weekend when episode 2 should come up. I don't plan for this to be a series that goes for like more than a month or anything. Like I said, I'm really only planning for like 8 or 9 episodes, maybe 10, depending on how things go. Possibly more if there's more side content. And yeah, Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, that'll just be like when I'm feeling it, and I still need to figure out what I do with well, the episode that will never be, because I need to decide if I'm just re-recording the Warlock or repurposing that footage. So we'll see. I'm still figuring that out. Yeah, if DLC drops for that game, I will definitely show off some of that. And then I don't have any other games planned out like in the near future, so I won't speak much about that at the moment. Yeah, I mean, my channel's still super new. I don't really have, you know, a following or a dedicated audience or anything. So I'll most likely, instead of speaking on it, just upload it as I, you know, as I can. Oh, Shell Shock is still in the works. I'm probably going to at least start playing that pretty soon, if not recording. Still gonna figure that out. And otherwise, yeah, I don't want to mention any other games just in case I don't actually get around to them. But yeah, I do actually like this game quite a bit. I just like the concept of it overall. Like, it's nice and straightforward. Just from this first week, playing through it a few times, I will say I do wish there was more depth to it. Again, there's what, like 5 buildings here, and they all have a purpose. But so far, there's nothing in the forest, nothing in the cave that is right next to the forest. And then you can go to the next, you know, stage in the forest, and there's just nothing there. So I mean, I'm curious to see what this developer does with, you know, whatever is in the rest of the game. But so far the content is very bare bones, but the execution is like, you know, for a single person doing it, like it's pretty good. Okay, and with that, we have beat our first boss, or gym leader. So far, I'm very pleased with how my gym is performing. This is just the first week, you know, still very low levels. Um, I think we've done a pretty good job of leveling up both of our trainers. So like obviously Michael is kind of our like real carry. His Pokemon have definitely gone up the most consistently. Because I mean, yeah, just look at this. I need to we need to get rid of at least one Buizel and one Remoraid for at least some diversity. And I mean, I actually like the eventual Whiscash just because Water Ground is a really good typing. I mean, it's weak to what? Grass? And I mean, and grass will hit super hard, but yeah, that's the only typing. So like, it's pretty manageable. But yes, looking at the upgrade options, so the thing about Beldum, it kind of sucks, and I don't think in any normal game it ever gets anything apart from tackle until it evolves. And it doesn't evolve until like level 30. So now instead of, you know, dealing with a Beldum until level 30 and then when it's evolve into Metagross 45, now we have a Metang. So it actually has attacks, as you could see there. Learned Confusion and Metal Claw. So now it has moves of the same type. But with that, guys, this has been the first week in Pokemon Gym Manager. I hope you guys have liked it. Again, if anyone has any feedback about the decisions I'm making with how I edited this and how I should do things moving forward, please feel free to leave a comment. Anyone that made it this far, thank you very much for watching. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. And bye.